Hey everyone, it's Caleb with TanoArmy.com, here to bring you another guide. Today we're going to be looking at Saryn, and we're going to be focusing on creating a build that revolves around spores. Now, what spores is going to do is when you cast it's going to make 3 spores on an enemy, and whenever you pop the spore, it's going to spread to another enemy also in a pair, or I shouldn't say pair, in threes, right? So every time you pop a spore, 3 new spores get applied to a new enemy. And not just 3. I mean, like any enemy that's within its range, it'll apply 3 different spores to it. And also, I want to talk a little bit about the viral proc. What viral is going to do is it's not just going to make, or not going to cut the enemy's HP by 50%. It's also going to cut the current HP by 50%. So if you already have an enemy already under the affliction of a viral proc, it's when you apply a new viral proc to it, it's going to cut the current health by 50. And then if you pop a new spore, it's going to cut that by 50, so on and so forth. So you're going to have like a little chain reaction of reapplication of spores, lowering the enemy's health over and over again. So what we're going to want to do is have as much power range as possible, right? So we can reach as many enemies as possible, increasing the spread range. And we're also going to want the power duration as high as possible so that those spores will stay up longer. So if you look over here in the abilities, with the current mod setup we have, I'll show you in a minute, the spores are going to reach 40 meters, and the duration is going to be almost 22 seconds, right? So they're going to be up for quite a while, so this means we don't have to spam spores. We don't have to worry about a high energy pool or having amazing efficiency. So let's go take a look at the build. Alright, so here's the build. And for our power range mods, we're going to be using Cunning Drift in the Exilus slot, Stretch, and Overextended. Now, Overextended is going to give you a negative 60% power strength, but like I said, this build revolves around the viral effect, not necessarily the amount of damage that the spore does. So the negative 60% power strength is not going to affect this build negatively. Next, we're going to be looking at the duration mods in Constitution and Prime Continuity. If you don't have Prime Continuity, that's fine. Use a regular one. Now, next we talked about the efficiency and how much energy you have, right? Again, you're not going to be casting a lot of this. It's not something you're going to be spamming. So, Streamline is 100% optional. You don't need it. Same thing if you're going to be planning on using Flow or Prime Flow. They're complete options. And I'll show you why once we get inside. I recommend that you use more defensive style mods of Vitality, Redirection. I haven't completely polarized everything the way I wanted to, otherwise I'd swap this over to another Saryn slot for increased armor. I'll probably put in an armored agility, or I put in a steel fiber, something of that sort, because you're going to be taking a lot of damage. This build provides no crowd control, and you'll see what I mean once we get inside here. So we looked at the build. We know that we're going to be looking to apply Spore. Now let's look at how we're going to pop those spores. I recommend using the Hikou Prime with the Concealed Explosives, or if you don't have the Prime variant, Hikou, the regular one, is fine. Because again, it's not about the amount of damage it does, it's just about the explosion that spreads the spores. The other option the 2 weapons I would highly recommend that you use is the Sonicor and the Staticor. Both of them are going to create that explosion we're looking for. It's going to pop all of the spores on the enemy. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this. And look at how we modded this. Like I said, all we're looking to do is use the Concealed Explosives mod to pop all the spores. So we're going to be modding around that by giving it more multi-shot, right? So more chances for these, the kunai to explode. And then we're going to be using Sneaker to make sure that they keep going and hit multiple targets and explode. You know what? I'm not 1000% sure. I haven't actually gone into the Simulacrum and tried this against a lot of enemies to see if it on explosion, if it just disappears or if it keeps traveling. So I have to do a little more testing, but I think it works. I see a lot of explosions, and we'll look at it earlier, a little later right here. I'll show you some gameplay. Now the damage mods, it's not really needed. I mean, these are completely optional because again, we're just looking for the explosives, the explosion proc to break all the spores. So let's go hop into a high level mission, and we can take a look at some gameplay and see how this works. Alright. Just go into a mobile defense so we can try and spawn some enemies. Remember, these are levels 31 to 36, I believe. I know it said 30 something to 39, but that's a different mission type, so not the regular one. Alright. Pick up the database and let's go run over. Let's go put this in so we can spawn some enemies. Alright. So what we're going to want to do is switch to our Hikou Prime. Let's find an enemy. These Exomis guys are going to make my life a living hell. Alright. I'm going to apply a Spore to that guy. Cast a bunch of them. And he's dead. So if you notice that his friends on anywhere around him, they all also get wrecked. Gotta be very careful with the Hikou though, unfortunately. Because I do take a lot of damage. So if you notice, his enemies really far away, they get the viral proc. It's really, really good for spreading the viral proc. You guy's dead. You guy's dead. Like I said, if you look at the top right of my screen, my health actually goes down quite quickly. So that's why I recommend using a lot of defensive mods, because you do go down. Like there's no CC, so you drop really fast, or you can drop really fast. Oh, you know what? One mod I forgot to mention. I'll go over it once we get out of here. So anyways, as you can see, these guys are no problem. I don't have magnetic damage, right? I didn't mod for magnetic. I think I have corrosive on this, which I don't recommend that you do against Corpus, but I just wanted to illustrate the point that it's not about the amount of damage you do. It's just the explosive proc, right? It reduces their health so drastically to the point where they probably have like 100 health. Even though they're this level enemies, the spores spread everywhere. They hit like 15 viral procs and they have like 10 health. And you one-shot them. Doesn't matter how big their health is. And the great thing about these kunai, or the Hikou Prime, using the concealed explosives, is you don't actually have to hit them. Like if you miss, if you're not very accurate, it doesn't matter. Right, because they're going to explode on contact. Anyways, I just wanted to show how easy it is to kill enemies, doesn't matter what level they are. So like if you're someone that's just starting out in the game and you're looking to do high level content and you don't have all the mods and but you still want to join your friends and like for example the sorties, right? If you don't have all the mod collection, you're not that experienced, this is a good way for you to be able to do that high level content. So I wanted to share this with you. One of the other mods that I highly recommend that you put on the Hikou Prime, not so much on the other two weapons we talked about, but specifically on the Hikou and the Hikou Prime, is that it does run out of ammo quite fast. So I would recommend that you put on the ammo mutations, pistol ammo mutation, or if you have the Prime variant, that one. Actually, I don't know if the pistol one has come out yet, but again, just pistol ammo mutation would be phenomenal. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed the guide. We're going to come to a conclusion here. So just a quick recap. We're going to be using the Spores. We're going to apply the Spore. We're going to pop it using an AoE explosive weapon. It's going to create a chain reaction, lower all the enemy's health, and to the point where it's so low that they'll die just from any amount of damage. And it is really good at scaling, so it doesn't matter what level enemies they are, you'll be able to destroy them really, really quickly. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed the guide. I hope everything made sense. If you have any questions or concerns, or maybe you have some adjustments that you'd like to mention to me, please comment down below. And also visit tennoarmy.com and check out the other guides that we have. We're always looking to put out new content for you guys. If you have any requests for guides, or maybe you know of a build we haven't already covered, please let us know. We always love to hearing back from the audience. So that's it for me guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.